Okay, everyone, good evening and welcome to this British Omani Society hosted webinar shining a spotlight on the Society's various youth schemes and zooming in this evening on our Student Volunteers Oman scheme, for which applications are now open. I'm Jared Martin and I work on events and programming for the British Omani Society. And without further ado, I'm now going to hand over to the chair of the society, Richard Stanford, who's going to deliver a few additional words of welcome and introduction on behalf of the society. Over to you, Richard.
Thanks, Jared, and welcome to all of you who signed up to this webinar. I'm Richard Stanford. I chair the British Omani Society. Coming society with 1976, our two countries. And as you will pick up in a moment, those connections are deep and very long lasting. But the reason why we have the student volunteers piece is we need to make sure that carries on. Going back many years, people used to live over there, used to help in all sorts of ways, and the strength really is really close. We need to make sure that carries on. And what we often say is it needs to be a multi-generational link. And you, being part of the student volunteers, would become part of that. And you'll hear in a moment from 3 people, 4 people who've been over there or who are there at the moment. And it's a really important part of what we do. Once you go to Oman, it truly does get under your skin. And I've lived over there a number of times for a number of years, and it's a fantastic place. But we can't take it for granted. We can't take the relationship for granted. We've got to make sure that collectively, you, the next generation, continue that close relationship. This year's our 50th anniversary, so we've got some events planned for that. And of course, we will continue with the Student Volunteer Oman scheme. It's pretty unique amongst all schemes like this. It's free. We fund everything, including a little bit of pocket money. I don't think there are many, if any, schemes like it. As a society, we focus on a whole range of areas. I've talked about youth, that's really important, but we also focus on business, environment, culture, and education. On the education point, this is not an Arabic language scheme. We run those separately. If you want to do that, you can do this and also in due course apply. This is not an Arabic language scheme per se. You'll get a little bit of dipped into Arabic. You'll learn a tiny bit, but it's not, you don't need to speak the language. You don't have to have studied it, but you will pick up the culture and you will pick up the odd word here or there. What are we looking for? Jared and Katie will cover that, but in short order, we're looking for 2 people who are slightly older, postgraduate, 2 people who've just finished A-levels, that sort of level. We need a split of 2 girls, 2 boys, and we need drivers. Those are really important parts of it because you get the chance to move around with a car, etc. So I really do think it's a unique opportunity. And I would say it wouldn't have, but I think we'd be mad not to apply. We're very lucky. We get lots of applications, but don't let that put you off. We take people from everywhere and all ages up to within reason. So if you're humming and hawing about whether you should apply. You have absolutely nothing to lose. And we are lucky to have all sorts of people who do come. And we've ended up with some great people. And you will end up with bonds, not just between the 4 of you on that scheme, but also with Omanis. And also we run a gathering every summer where people who've been on the scheme come together and have a sort of reunion, as well as meet people who've been there before. We've been running this for quite a long time. We've say over 100 students over there, 4 people at a time. So it's a pretty well-oiled machine. We know what the requirements are. We know how to set you up for success. And that's enough from me. What I want to do is hand over to those who've been over there. The very best of luck to all of you. Please do apply. And it is an amazing opportunity. And that will be brought to life by the team in a moment. So thanks very much. And we look forward to seeing your applications.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Richard. Now, before proceeding further into the webinar, I just thought I would share with you all a brief overview of the structure of this evening and what we're going to try and cover in the next 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to start by exploring briefly why Oman is such a fantastic destination for volunteering and for study, before introducing the various youth schemes that the British Omani Society offers, and then zooming in on the Student Volunteers Oman scheme. We'll look at what the scheme consists of day-to-day life, practical details, and of course, how to apply. We are really delighted and recent participants on the scheme who will be able to share their first-hand insights on their experience and give you a lot more colour to their accounts than I ever could. We then hope to have lots of time at the end for a Q&A session. Thank you to those of you who have already submitted questions in your registration form. We'll aim to deal with some of those first. Um, if you would like to submit a question during the webinar, there's a Q&A function at the bottom, so please just type your question and we will try and deal with as many as possible in the time that we have. As well as the staff team here in London and current and recent participants on the scheme, we're also delighted to be joined by Chris Seymour, who teaches at the Sultan School and helps to coordinate the scheme from that end, from the Sultan School. So by way of high-level introduction, just to kind of kick things off, I'm going to work on the assumption that some or perhaps many of you do not have uh, extensive prior exposure or knowledge of Oman and why it might be somewhere worth traveling to for study, for volunteering, or for work in the future. So just to provide a little bit of kind of high-level context to kick things off, the Sultanate of Oman is located in the southeastern corner of the Arabian Peninsula. It's bordered by the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and the Republic of Yemen, as well as by the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. It has a population of just over 5.5 million people, which puts it similar in population to Scotland, but those people are spread across an area about the size of Italy and larger than the United Kingdom. While relatively small, its population is growing, dynamic, and youthful, with a median age of just 27. Historically, Oman's economy has been reliant on oil, but under Vision 2040, it's pursuing economic diversification, transitioning to an economy based around knowledge and innovation. One aspect of this transition is the provision in Oman of a range of really excellent educational institutions. And that's, I think, the first point of five here in this why Oman slide of why it's really worth going out there. The Sultan School is one example of those. There's also the Sultan Qaboos Institute for teaching Arabic to non-native speakers, with whom we partner for our sister scheme, our Arabic language scheme. Beyond these reasons, there are several reasons I'd just like to point out initially why, if you are on the fence, Oman is a really fantastic place to go out and visit and study and volunteer. First of all, as you can kind of see, hopefully in the backdrop to this slide, it is a country of incredible geographical diversity and incredible natural beauty. Its environment in many places is simply stunning, with a great deal of variety and a great deal of natural beauty, which I'm sure our participants will be able to allude to. It is also one of the safest countries in the world, and it is famous across the region and beyond for its welcoming and hospitable approach to visitors, particularly from the UK. Among the GCC countries, it is without doubt, I would say, the most affordable destination. And despite the transformational economic development that it has seen in the last 50 years, I would say that it's fared rather better than some at preserving its own unique and authentically Arabian culture, which means that it offers genuinely fantastic opportunities for cultural immersion for anyone that is interested in Arabia and the wider Arab world. So that is my kind of introduction to Oman. And now, before we zoom in on the Student Volunteers Oman scheme, I just want to point out to you opportunities for immersion. The Student Volunteers Oman scheme, as you can see, is one of those, and we're going to be focusing on that later on in this webinar. But we do also deliver our Arabic language scheme, which offers, again, fully funded scholarships for intermediate to advanced level Arabic students, offering 6 weeks of intensive study at the Sultan Qaboos Institute in Mana, near Nizwa. Applications for this scheme typically open in the autumn, and the scheme lasts from June to August. There is also our annual New Generation Group delegation. This is a 3-day program of lectures, group work, and site visits for a selected group of British and Omani young leaders in study and in their early careers, and with a demonstrable commitment to enhancing the UK-Oman relationship. This delegation usually takes place in November, with applications opening in the months before. So what I'm saying is, do keep an eye out on our website for a variety of opportunities that encompass student volunteers Oman, but also go beyond. Beyond these individual schemes, the final point that I'll make before I hand over is that participation in any British Omani Society youth scheme results in you joining a British Omani Society alumni network, which now consists of several hundred individuals who are in study and in early to mid careers now, some of them, and have really pursued a diverse and fascinating array of areas of expertise and fields of study. So you become part of that upon completion of that scheme, and that membership results in bespoke communications and invitations to events, as Richard alluded to, and we hope to do more around that in the coming months ahead. So to sum up, there is an awful lot to get involved in, and we really encourage you to do so. I'm to hand over to Katie now, and she will continue with the webinar.
Lovely, thank you very much, Jared. To introduce myself, I'm Katie, and I'll be overseeing the application process of the Student Volunteers Oman scheme. The SVO scheme offers a unique chance for young people to spend 3 months living and working in Oman. As a volunteer, you'll join the Sultan's School, where you'll support teachers, assist in classes, and take part in a wide range of school activities. This is one of Oman's leading bilingual schools and will be a hands-on opportunity to gain real experience in education while developing new skills and confidence. The scheme is designed to take care of all the essentials. Accommodation, meals are fully provided, along with return flights, possible shared car hire, and a contribution towards Arabic language tuition as well during the stay. Participants also receive a small weekly allowance to help cover everyday expenses. In addition to this, the Society arranges all necessary logistics, including visas, travel insurance, DBS checks, and flights. And beyond your work at school, the scheme will give you the chance to explore Oman's incredible culture and landscapes. This includes weekend trips to the mountains, the deserts, and the historical cities as well, such as Nizwa and Salalah, giving you a true sense of the country's heritage. You'll also have the opportunity to learn and practice Arabic and build lasting friendships with other volunteers. It is worth noting that being able to speak Arabic is not a requirement to participate in the scheme, it's just an optional add-on. Delivered by the British Omani Society, the SVO scheme is designed to strengthen cultural understanding between the UK and Oman while offering an enriching, memorable experience for every participant. Since its initiation in 2007, the Student Volunteer Oman scheme has helped over 100 participants achieve this. The SVO scheme runs 2 cohorts of 4 students a year. We are currently taking applications for the next 2 cohorts, one taking place from the 11th of September until the 17th of December 2026, and the other in 2027 from the 8th of January until the 8th of April. Successful candidates will demonstrate a genuine interest in Oman, ideally studying subjects linked to Oman Vision 2040, and will show proactive and leadership qualities. It is also highly beneficial for applicants to have had experience in teaching, tutoring, and mentoring with young people. When applying for the scheme, applicants are encouraged to research Oman and reflect on how the scheme supports their future goals. Further to this, we are particularly interested in applicants who show interest in the British Omani Society, as participants automatically become BOS alumni members, as mentioned previously. In terms of who is eligible to apply for the scheme, candidates must be either school leavers or recent graduates who have not yet begun their careers. For more information concerning eligibility, please check our website. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us via the Q&A box or also to email us. So applications for the scheme are currently open and will be open until the 20th of February. We will then shortlist candidates and aim to conduct interviews in April, finalising a list of participants shortly after that. We will now hear from 2 participants of the scheme to get a first-hand account of their time in Oman. So first of all, I believe we're going to hear from Joe.
Thank you very much, Katie. Hi, everybody. Yes, my name is Joe, and I was on the September to December placement on the Student Volunteers Oman programme. So I arrived back to the cold and wet of the UK a couple of weeks ago. Before that, I was a student at St Andrews in Scotland, where I studied English literature, French and Arabic. And it was actually through that I managed to get onto the programme. So through studying and learning about Arabic, the society sent an email to our Arabic department, and that's how I first heard about it. And yeah, initially I was really excited about it. I was already considering doing a gap year post-uni, and it seemed like the perfect way to start it. I had never been to Oman or the Gulf before, so that was one of the things that attracted me to the scheme. Just the chance to live in a new country is always something that really appeals to me. And I was also really interested in working in a school. So seeing what education is like from the teacher side rather than the students. Clearly, I'd spent at that point like 18 years in education from the student side. I thought it'd be a really fun experience to see what it was like being a teacher as well. And yeah, it'd be something that I would be potentially interested in doing at some point in my life, in my career. And I thought this was a really good way to see if it's something that I actually did enjoy. So once we got there, in terms of a typical week, it was very varied, and we sort of helped out with anything that we could. So I think we really benefited from this keenness to get involved with as much as possible. We sort of said to pretty much all of the teachers at the start, like, if there's something going on, then please just let us know, because we just want to do everything. And we definitely did. In terms of the daily schedule, it started off relatively empty. So I think we did 4 or 5 sessions a day, 4 or 5 periods out of 8. And that was mainly helping years 3 to 6 in their maths and English lessons. And then sort of the younger years in their PE lessons, so teaching them swimming and then teaching them athletics and football and stuff like that. But then we had lots of free time as well to sort of do our own thing. But what we all did was we sort of worked out which aspect of the school life we enjoyed the most, and we just are to do some more of that. So I was really interested in the sort of older years English teaching. So I did a bit of GCSE English, helping out with that. And yeah, one of the other girls on the team was really interested in KG, so the younger kids, the kindergartners. She did a lot of help with that. And they're very flexible. They understand that you're there for the experience. You're not there getting paid a huge amount, but you're there definitely for yourselves. And the school is very good at facilitating that and making the experience as good as possible. And then in terms of the other, I guess, extracurricular stuff that we did throughout the semester, so we went camping with DofE. We went camping on our own, and then with the DofE students, we went camping and did the walk with them. We helped out with Mathemania, which was this maths tournament where they invited all the schools from Muscat, and that was a huge amount of fun. We took the school kids on the school trips. So there was one we went to an engineering village with, I think it was the year 3s, and there was a geography trip to the beach for the GCSE students. Very well organised by Mr. Chris, might I add. We did a bit of longshore drift. And there you go. We helped out with Model UN as well. So yeah, a very, very varied week by week. Even though in theory there was a routine that you followed every day, you were doing the same lessons. I don't think there was a week, or there were very few weeks where I'd sort of have just those core lessons. There was always something else going on. There's something else that I could throw myself into. So I never really felt bored. And yeah, in terms of my own personal development, clearly all the things that you'd expect to improve did improve, like my communication. I had to adapt the way I spoke to the kids based on how old they were and how good their English was. So clearly we'd all grown up speaking English, and none of us could really remember what it was like to not be able to speak it. So it definitely made us think about which words to use and what sort of register and what tone to use with the kids. And that was really interesting, just being a bit more deliberate about how I'm actually speaking than I am just in day-to-day life speaking to other English speakers. We're also given a fair bit of responsibility in terms of safeguarding, looking after the children. I mean, it's been said already, but Oman is an extremely safe country, and there are only very few things that can go wrong. But it is still feel like quite a big deal when you've got 20 year one students and you need to make sure they don't all go running off. Um, and yeah, definitely the sort of sense of responsibility and being able to be in charge of a group of people, I definitely benefited from. And I also really enjoyed being in a bilingual school. So I'd never been in that sort of environment before, and that was really beneficial for me in terms of the cultural aspect of it, but also just in terms of learning my Arabic. I think the kids really enjoyed sort of speaking Arabic to me because there aren't that many of the Gappies. I know that a couple of them do, but there aren't that many who can actually speak Arabic, and clearly they don't see that many Western European looking people who speak Arabic as well, just in when they're walking about. So I think they really enjoyed that. And then I obviously loved speaking Arabic with them. And then the teachers as well. So the Arabic teaching staff are super welcoming. They're really understanding, and they love just chatting to me in Arabic, and then I could actually sit in on some of their lessons. So I found that I was a level year 6 or year 7 in terms of my Arabic, which was quite useful, and it's quite fun to sit in on that, go over things about like spot the dog and stuff like that, but in Arabic. Yeah, another key thing that we helped out with was the scholars in the evenings. So one of the main differentiating factors for TSS was that they've got this scholars program where they have around 60 kids from the interior of Oman, so not from Muscat. They come in and they live on site during the week, and then they go home to like a weekly boarding situation. And then we go and we help them out with their prep, with their homework after school. And then we got to know some of the year 12s and year 13s really well. They were really welcoming because they're essentially the same age as us. And we sort of got to become really good friends with them. We would go to their boarding house and played a bit of pool, played a few card games, and just sort of help them out. One of the big things that we helped them out with was their university application process. So we helped them out with the actual nitty gritty of the UCAS process, how it all works, but also the sort of various, I guess, stereotypes and things that they may not know about different universities and different places in the UK. And we were able to help that out with our experiences of just having lived in the UK and visited these places, because these guys were clearly very excited to apply to university, but they needed us to, or they were asking for our specific knowledge of having been to these places. And that was really beneficial for them, and also beneficial for us in terms of feeling like we could provide our cultural knowledge in the same way that they were providing their cultural knowledge in terms of just telling us about their villages, their towns that they grew up in, the way Omani society works, sort of the role of things that you expect to be slightly different, but we ended up finding a lot more similarities than we did differences in terms of our background and theirs. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. Another thing I did as well is I joined the Muscat RFC rugby club. So clearly you're there working in the school, but you're also just a person, and you want to go off and make the most of your experience in the city. And that was definitely the best thing that I did in terms of outside of the school, because there were a few other expat teachers there and some Omanis as well. So I got to know them really well. And I managed to go and play in the Dubai Sevens tournament, which was, yeah, one of the best weekends of my life. It was so much fun playing rugby and partying with all of these teams from around the Gulf and with my new Omani friends. And yeah, that was so much fun. I couldn't recommend that enough. Even if you have not played rugby before, they've got a men's and a women's team, and they're both very welcoming to beginners. There's also the Irish Society, which I would recommend as well. I didn't do any of it personally, but I know they do sort of their own Irish Society social scene, and they do Gaelic football as well, which I think is a bit more welcoming for beginners. So yeah, I would really recommend that as a way of sort of expanding your horizons beyond just the school and the program, as a way to sort of see what's going on with the rest of the city. And yeah, I guess to summarize, I'm sure we can work out from the way that I'm speaking about it how much I love my time in Oman and working at TSS and just fully embracing life in Muscat. I felt like I was really able to give a lot to the school, but also to get a lot from it myself. It's like so many things in life. The more that I gave to it, the more I was able to get out of it. And in terms of my Arabic, just by sort of being surrounded by it and practicing it, but also in terms of helping the students with their sort of from as low a level as their basic timetables in the year three all the way up to the university process, and applying and writing personal statements and helping out with like extended essays for IBs for the year 13s. I felt like I was able to really give a lot to the school, which was clearly what I was there for, and I found that really enriching. And yeah, I guess it's hard to quantify how much it's developed me, because none of these things are concrete things that you can measure. But I can just tell you that it's changed me in an unquantifiable way, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, just to reiterate what has already been said and what I'm sure will be said, you have to apply, because it is just a huge amount of fun.
Thank you very much, Joe. And now we will go over to Matthew, who is currently out there in Muscat.
Good evening. Yeah, it's a bit later in the evening out here. It's 9:30. It's actually quite cool for Muscat standards at the moment. It's a bit windy. It's about 17 degrees. So I've been here about 2 weeks and already feeling pretty spoilt with the weather that we're complaining about it being cold. Which, yeah, you wouldn't get that in the British winter, but it's been really good the first 2 weeks. Just getting to grips with everything. We've had 4 days on, then 2 bank holidays, so a 4-day weekend, and then 4 days on again. So weeks run Sunday to Thursday in Oman. So yeah, just finished this week, and then we're broken up for the weekend. But yeah, I'll start saying a little bit about myself. My name's Matthew. I'm 22. I'm from Northumberland in the north of England. Funnily enough, I also went to university in St Andrews. I studied Arabic with Joe. So I'll try my best not to repeat anything that Joe's already said, but yeah, we've had some similar experiences. I went to uni to study maths and ended up studying Arabic and maths, and absolutely loved it. If anyone's looking at applying to university, definitely would look at doing Arabic. And if you're interested in the region and languages in particular, definitely have a look at doing Arabic. Just to re-emphasize what Katie said, Arabic's by no means like a prerequisite for the Volunteer Oman scheme. So like, don't feel put off if you haven't got that up your sleeve. And there's lots of other things that they look for when they're looking at who to accept for applications. But yeah, during my degree, I studied abroad in Amman in Jordan at a language school for 3 months, and absolutely loved that time. It was my first time living in the Middle East, and was blown away by how welcoming people were, and just getting to explore such a new and fascinatingly different culture. So when I saw, just like Joe, we got advertised this, the British Omani Society offering this scholarship, it looked like an absolutely amazing opportunity, and I jumped at the chance to apply to do something like this again and really get to have an authentic view of a completely new and different culture, and meet new people, explore new places. So would definitely recommend applying. If you're on this call, you're probably thinking about it, but definitely go for it. I think the main thing I can tell you so far is about just how the daily life kind of works here in the Sultan School. So we arrived a bit jet lagged and got shown around the campus. It's quite a big campus, so you will get lost the first couple of weeks, but you soon start working out where things are. I got lost today, for example, trying to find one of the secondary classrooms, but all the teachers are so welcoming, all the school staff and the students are all really welcoming. Everyone says hello to you, saying assalamu alaikum when you go down through the corridors of the school. So yeah, you quickly, even if you don't have any Arabic, all the other 3 gappies, as we're referred to out here, they've all picked up the basics of the Arabic. So yeah, everyone's really welcoming and helps show you around. But yeah, our day starts off quite early just because of the heat out here. But yeah, we get going about 7 o'clock. We have breakfast with the scholars. The place we are staying in the old boarding house of the scholars. So we've got our own space, plenty of space, and we're right in the middle of the school complex, which is very easy for us. We can get to and from everywhere very quickly. So yeah, we have breakfast with the scholars early in the morning, and then lessons start pretty much straight after that. So you've got a period, 2 periods, then break, then 2 periods, then lunchtime, and then 4 more periods. So far, as Joe was saying, they start you off fairly light. So we've not had too heavy a timetable, but mostly just helping out with maths and English, and also PE, all in kind of primary years. Some of us also doing a bit of science and music lessons as well, which are all really fun. So it's all about just trying to make the lessons fun and really support the teachers as much as possible. The teachers are all very welcoming, both the teachers who are teaching in Arabic and the teachers who are teaching in English make you feel really welcome and explain exactly the support they need and how you can best help all the students. So yeah, so far I've really enjoyed the maths. I obviously did maths at uni, so it's like going back to school again and remembering how everything works slightly differently at school. But yeah, it's been really good, giving everyone a helping hand. And yeah, I'm sure Joe found it as well. Being able to speak a little bit of Arabic really helps when you're helping with reading comprehension with the kids, because you can just kind of help make those connections between English and Arabic for a lot of the kids. Something I was talking to one of the teachers today, and she was explaining how some of the years were quite significantly affected by the pandemic, missed a lot of early years schooling and on phonetics and stuff like that. And it's similar as well in terms of the scholars' reading abilities. Often they've been to government schools and have just come to the Sultan School, which is slightly more rigorous in terms of the education standards. So giving them a helping hand in terms of helping their reading ability and comprehension, that's one of your kind of key roles, which we've really been focusing on already, I think, in these first few weeks. But yeah, as Joe said, you get plenty of free periods at the start. So I've been able to throw myself in to do lots of different activities, filling time, going to some Arabic lessons. I've been going to the year 6 ones in Joe's footsteps, but still trying to understand what's going on, really. But yeah, the extracurricular stuff is also a really big part. So in our first week, we did 2 days where we were on school trips. We took the year 4s to a cultural museum on the other side of Muscat. And that was absolutely fascinating for us as well, because kind of we just arrived, and this museum was showcasing all the outfits and the traditional Omani customs, and the kids were absolutely fascinated by it as well, seeing the different customs from the different regions in Oman. So it's really nice. You get to bond with the kids really quickly, because you're sharing kind of their learning journey and relating to that. And yeah, you definitely they absolutely love all the GAP students. We're definitely filling the shoes of the ones from last semester. Joe and Jack and Tabby and Frankie are all very highly regarded still. So we're trying to compete with them. But yeah, as Joe said, helping the scholars. So after the school day ends, we go over to the boarding house and help out with the scholars, be that reading or maths or any other homework they have, and then yeah, helping them with their uni applications and stuff. Most of that's finished now, but yeah, just supporting them if they've got any questions, answering that. Then you go back and you have dinner with the scholars as well, and then time's free after that. But we like to make the most of the facilities in the boarding house. So they've got, as Joe said, pool tables, table tennis. We were playing football with them in the playground, or you play chess. Lots of different things you can do the facilities in the school as well are absolutely amazing. So we've got a gym, pool, and a paddle court, which we've been excessively using, the four gappies, the last couple of weeks. We've been having good fun with the paddle. And yeah, so that's what the Salton School provides for all the scholars and for all the students, and you get to benefit from it as well. And as Katie was saying, we get a car, which is so useful in terms of living in Oman, living in Muscat. The public transport is not really existent here, or so far as we're aware. So everyone drives, and we've been provided with a car, so it's helped us no end getting around. We can basically get from one side of Muscat to the other within 40 minutes and see so many different things. Go to the beach is about 5 minutes away. We went to the driving range to play some golf this afternoon, and then went to the mall, had a look around there. So there's so many different things you can get involved with.
Fill in some questions, provide some time for Q&A, as we've got
Okay.
quite a few already submitted, but really thank you so much for the insights you've already provided. And if anyone wants to ask a question to tease out any more, you're very welcome to do so. But yes, bearing in mind that we've already had quite a few questions submitted, I'll just hand over to Katie to run through some of those questions that we've received. And yeah, thanks again, Matthew and Joe, for your insights.
Yes, thank you very much, Matthew and Joe, for your input there. That's been really helpful, and great to learn a bit more about what you've managed to get from the scheme, which is fantastic. In terms of the Q&A, you're welcome to insert your questions in the Q&A function on the Zoom call. We've had a few come in already before the call started, so I'll run through a few of those first. A few questions have come up regarding the Arabic tuition. So this is an optional extra at an extra cost in your free time. It's definitely worth doing if you have not studied Arabic before, but as we've said before a few times, you do not need to have working knowledge of Arabic at all. Like, you could be completely fresh to the Arabic language. If you already speak Arabic, there's plenty of opportunity for you to practice your language skills in your time on the scheme. Likewise, as mentioned by Jared previously, the British Omani Society also organises another youth scheme, the Arabic language scheme, for those that are of an intermediate/advanced level. We've had a few other questions regarding the ages or stages of study of the participants. So for this scheme, there is no specific age bracket as such, but we are primarily targeting participants who are school leavers or recent graduates on a gap year. And as mentioned before, there is more information on our website, and you are more than welcome to contact us if you have any queries. We've also had a couple of questions regarding the age of the pupils at the school. I think Joe and Matthew have already given some good suggestions that the pupils are primary and secondary students. I was wondering, maybe Chris, if you could give some sort of indication on the participants. Would they be spending most of their time with primary students or secondary students, or is it a mix?
So it is open for review, to be honest. So just to introduce myself, so I'm Chris Seymour. I work at the Sultan School, and I've taken on the mantle from two very long-serving members of the Sultan School who will be retiring this year. So I'm actually looking at the arrangements now and learning each and every time I speak to Laura and Sean, who were my predecessors. And I think things are up for review. As Joe and Matthew have mentioned, timetables tend to be fairly light to begin with, and then there's that flexibility to adapt that to suit the individual. So if there is a particular passion, a particular subject area, even a particular age group where a participant would like to learn more about, spend some time in, that can be arranged. But currently it is more of a primary focus to begin with, and I think that's a good way into a school, particularly if you've not worked in a school with children before. Would you like me to clarify any other aspects?
I think that's fantastic. Thank you, Chris, for your insights. Moving on, we've also had some questions regarding the daily schedule at the school. I was wondering if maybe Joe or Matthew could evolve a bit more, maybe what a typical day would look like on the scheme during the week.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, breakfast at 7. I think school day starts about 20 past 8. Then like about an hour and 20 minutes. Then you have break time, another hour and 20 minutes. Then lunchtime is about 11:30. And obviously you have some free periods. Sometimes you'll be timetabled in for classes where you're helping out in those. And then 2 more an hour and 20-minute periods, or sometimes they're split within that. Then that's you done for the day. And then 2 times a week, you will spend 2 hours in the evening from 4 till about 6. Depending on prayer times, you'll spend with the scholar students in the boarding house helping with homework. And then you'll have dinner after that.
Lovely, thank you. That's very, very helpful. In terms of the accommodation / boarding, we've had a few questions here. The boarding is separated by gender, and it's likely to be that you're in shared accommodation. Maybe Joe, could you give us a bit more information on what it's like in the accommodation? What facilities are there?
Yes, I can. It's quite basic, I'll say. It's if anyone's been in a boarding school, I didn't go to boarding school, but if anyone has been in a boarding school, then I'm sure you'll be able to relate. Is the rooms have got a bed, a desk, like a chest of drawers, a cupboard, and that's all of it. It's not like a flat, but you've got the whole place to yourself. It's of like a floor where a year or maybe 2 years would have been living back when it was the scholars boarding house, and so you sort of got the run of the place. We had the boys in one corridor and then the girls down another corridor, and then they've got like a nice common room in the middle, and then we like to go up to the rooftop as well, which is quite nice of an evening, and go up and listen to the call to prayer and watch the sunset. It was very nice to go up there. But yeah, the accommodation is the actual place where you're staying is basic. It does the job, but it's not. I mean, it's not the Ritz, but you're not really spending too much time there, regardless. And also if you are, then we didn't really spend that much time like in our individual rooms. We were often just hanging out on the rooftop or with our with each other in like the common room, or going off and like playing paddle, or going off to be with the scholars and stuff like that. So yeah, the combination it does what it needs to do, but possibly not that much more.
It's worth mentioning also that there is a kitchen. It's pretty limited, but there is a kitchen, and also you are 30 seconds from the dinner hall, maybe a minute walk, and you get all 3 meals cooked for you. You also get laundry done for you once a week. So like you don't need too much while you're out here, basically.
It's a very easy lifestyle. You sort of don't really have to lift a finger while you're there, which is quite nice. But yeah, it's very easy.
Just to add to that, if you do want a break from the school meals, they're very good, but chicken and rice are quite popular in terms of frequency. So takeaways are very easy to order online, just like they would be in the UK, and they're fairly reasonable as well.
Great, thank you very much. I'm just going through the Q&A box we've got here. Some of these questions have just been answered. Driving license, is it required to apply? We do look for participants to have at least one in the cohort to have a driver's license. So if you do not drive, that's not a problem at all. You don't hold a license, no worries. Within the cohort, we will have somebody with a driving license. So that's worth noting. In the cover letter, would you like applicants to focus on what they have gained from their experience and what they want to gain from the scheme? Of course, we'd love to hear how you think the SVO scheme may align with your career goals and what you hope to gain from the scheme in general. So definitely please do expand on that when applying. There's just a few more questions I've got here. So in terms of the application process, We have applications open now, as mentioned, and they close on the 20th of February. From then, we'll begin sifting through the applications and aim to shortlist for interviews by the end of March, April time. Of course, this is dependent on the volume of applications, but roughly interviews by end of March, April. From then, successful applicants will then be DBS checked, and then we offer places after that. Scheme provide career support such as pathways into teaching in Oman or guidance for other career opportunities. It's a really good question. We suggest that scheme participants make the most of the scheme and speak to staff at the school in regard to how they managed to end up at the Sultan School and what advice they can share.
I think I would just add in on that point. It's certainly from the alumni perspective, it's from the British Omani Society end, it's something that we're really looking at this year, I think, and looking at how we can kind of build more participatory and useful forms of community for alumni from all of our different schemes. So that point about ongoing support, mentorship, that is definitely something that we're aware of and actively kind of looking to build on in the coming months. But yeah,
yes,
excellent
thank you for
question.
that, Jared. That's fantastic. And also the final question, unless you've got any more coming through, the website mentions that the Arabic language scheme for 2026 is closed. When do we expect it to be open? So we have a cohort going out in the summer this year, and then in September 2026, we open applications for our summer 27 participants. So if you're wanting to advance your Arabic, this probably isn't necessarily the scheme for you. The Arabic language scheme applications open later on. So unless
I'm just seeing, yeah, I'm just having a look here as well. We've got one question, kind of recent master's graduate apply. There's nothing from 2024 apply. There's nothing just disqualifying you from making your application. So yeah, by all means, get your application in. Yeah, I think we've covered most things. I might just actually aware that I believe we've got a third participant, recent participant from the scheme who joined us in the call as well, Jack Ockenden. If you're there, Jack, I'm wondering if, in addition to what's already been brought up, if you feel like there is anything important, useful that has been missed, or that you would like to chip in with. I also think it's worth pointing out that Jack, you're I suppose a different kind of gappy. You've just finished sixth form, if that's correct. And so
Yeah.
it might be good to hear your perspective.
I feel like a lot's been covered. I saw a question earlier about the tuition for the Arabic lessons. So if I could say like what how much that costs, if anyone was wondering. So I think how much we got I think it was 200 real for our pocket money, and the Arabic lessons were 50 of that. Which is about £100. And then it was 2 lessons a week. So it's very, I think depends on your level whether they're worth it, but they're very much beginner. Like we spent most of the lesson learning the letters for up until the very end. But would highly recommend Mr. Mohammed as the teacher. He's a very nice guy. He's very interesting. But he's a lovely guy, very good teacher. And then half term, I'm not sure, did we cover that? Is a good opportunity for friends and family to visit. So I had some friends visit. I know Joe had his parents come over. Just yeah, it's a good opportunity because you are away for a while. And if you've just left school, chances are you were normally living with your parents. This is a good opportunity to see them again without being away for 3 months. And all have your friends over. It's quite a nice place to be. It's a good place, the beach, that sort of thing. But I think that's all I've got to say.
Brilliant. Thank you. Let's just check. So I think we've kind of covered most things there. Um, and the time has reached 6 o'clock. So, with that in mind, and keen for you, especially those of us joining for Oman, to be able to get ready for bed before another busy day, I think we should be able to wrap things up now. So, on behalf of the BOS, I'd just like to first of all really thank our contributors, our panel, for joining this evening. Joe, Jack, Matthew, and Chris, we've all really appreciated your insights, and I'm sure our attendees have as well. If there's something that we haven't been able to address adequately in the hour of the webinar, do feel free to drop an email afterwards to inquiries@britishomani.org, and we will do our very best to respond. And yeah, as I think everybody has said, please do apply. We really encourage you to, and as I hope you've been convinced, it really is a fantastic scheme to be a part of. On that note, it's thank you and good evening for me. وشكرا جزيلا ومع السلامة.